Tired of having your employees snooze or play snake on their phone during training? Well, friends, you're in luck. In today's video, we're going to talk all about the one trick I have for you to engage your employees in all of 3 seconds. Hey friends, my name is Vanessa Alzate, the founder and CEO of Anchored Training, where we help organizations like you engage your employees utilizing principles from what everyone loves to scroll, social media. And so guess what? I already showed you the tip. Did you miss it? Let's rewind the tape. Tired of having your employees snooze or play snake on their phone during training? It's called a hook. You need a hook in order to engage your employees in the first 3 seconds of training so they actually want to pay attention and they're actually going to maybe buy in. See, we all know I love a good TikTok, and I really do scroll the platform to learn more about how I can utilize what is working there and apply it to learning and development. Because see, if your employees are paying attention to social media, then there has to be something that's working there that we can borrow and steal over here on the L&D side. Am I right? And the fact is, great content creators know they have to hook us. And the thing is, on TikTok, it's about 1 to 3 seconds in order to actually hook us before we hit that thumb and we scroll to the next video. TikTok creators do not open up with boring learning objectives. They open up with how this video is going to be the solution for your problem. If you look at a lot of the content that you probably have out there, it tends to open with, "Welcome to Cybersecurity 101. In this module, we're going to learn why you should not open up that email and the signs to look out for of a phishing scam." I mean, cool. That's great, but is that really going to engage you, or are your eyes going to immediately glaze over and you're just going to wait till that next button enables in order to get to that next slide? I know for me, that's what I'm typically doing. But if instead I opened up the e-learning module with, "Are you scared to open up that link to that meme because you're afraid to cause a national security issue at your organization?" In this e-learning module, we're going to talk all about how to avoid phishing scams. That is a little bit more engaging, that I want to pay attention to, and that is probably a thought or a feeling I probably have had as an employee. I mean, like, we all get those emails that were like, "I want to open this link, I want to open this attachment, but something about it just looks a little bit off, but it also looks like it could be right." If you open up with more of those stories, more of those thoughts, more of those solutions to the pain points your learners are having, it is going to be really easy to hook them. So how can you apply this? First things first, I want you to ask yourself, why would the learner want to pay attention past this first slide in your module? If there is honestly no real why they would want to pay attention, there is nothing about what they are going to get out of it, nothing about what's in it for them, nothing about solving a pain point that they may be having or how this is going to be worth their time as opposed to feeling like a check in the box training, you're not going to have that hook. And the first step in order to do that is that you really have to put yourself in the learner's shoes. And if you are just not sure of the answers to those questions, I need you to take a step back. I need you to take a step back and do some learner analysis and develop your learner personas. This is where you develop personas about the ideal learner for your course. And this gives you more of an understanding of their motivations, their thoughts, what their day is like, the type of content that they prefer, all of those things, so you can create solutions that speak directly to them. Listen, we've all been part of training where it just felt like they were talking to just about everyone, so you didn't even feel like it was really even relevant to you. But you've also been part of training, I am sure, where you felt like they really spoke to you. And that is because that person probably was speaking directly to you because they had that persona. This may feel like a time suck for you and an extra step, but that one step that you can do once and then revisit, in 6 months, 9 months, in a year, once you do it once, you can really utilize it for a lot of different types of training. And it really does help for you to curate the language and the content so you can engage your employees. So you're speaking as you're having a conversation with them as opposed to speaking to them and kind of not even speaking to them. You're just kind of speaking to the broad group. And I know it could be really tempting to make assumptions about the learners because you feel like you know your employees really well. But I ask you, I beg you, I plead you, please do not. Because there are opportunities where you might have biases. You may have blind spots that you cannot see about the employee that's creating the training. You may know them very well. That may be 100% a fact, but it is still critical for you to go out and speak to them, learn more about them, learn more about their motivations, pull their words, right? because then you can start utilizing that in your content. And you may realize that certain assumptions that you made are just assumptions that you made based on your bias or your blind spot and not actually fact. So you may be asking yourself, how do I apply this in live training? Well, one mistake that we see over and over again is starting out training all about you. So it's starting the class with an agenda, with, an opener like welcome to budgeting 101. It's opening up with the bio of the facilitator and then opening up with the ground rules, right? Like this is the box in which we want you to stick within while you're in this training. How about you flip that and start with a story, right? Start with that hook, start with the why they want to pay attention and why this course, this, 90-minute, 4-hour, 8-hour training investment is actually worth their time. And so they are more bought in and they're more likely to truly pay attention in the classroom. And especially important if you're doing this virtually, where it's very easy to have a second monitor and be on email, Slack, Teams, playing the game, doing all the other things instead of actually truly paying attention. So if you could open up with the story about why this content is so important and what they're going to gain out of it, and then do all the things that we have to do, right? The learning objectives and the agenda so they know where they're going and how they're going to get there, then share more about the facilitator, and then share more about, kind of the ground rules and what to expect from the class. I actually utilize this model, and I do model it when I do presentations. So most of my presentations will open up with some sort of story, will open up with something more about the content, and I don't actually ever get to anything about myself as the speaker, as the presenter, until about 3 or 5 slides in. Why? Because this session is not about me. None of this is about me, and it's not important to the learner. I want to make sure that my audience is understanding exactly what they're going to get out of this content, exactly why they're here, and I want them to know that they are in the right place. And that is more important than getting to all of that boring stuff of what they're going to learn about and who I am. Yes, it's important to get to later so they know who I am and we can officially become LinkedIn friends, but that is for a later slide. So if you can take that same mindset and take that same approach and put some more of that why in the beginning, it's really going to hook your learners a little bit sooner. And you'll notice a difference in the actual engagement within the content. So I already gave you one of my recommendations on a hook that you can use for cybersecurity, but let me give you another couple that I have come up with. So let's say you're doing sales training. How about opening up with a hook like this? I have 10x my close rate ever since I started applying these 3 simple steps. So what about management training? You could start off with something like this. I know you want to grow in your career at ABC organization, and you aren't sure exactly the skills that you need to get yourself into that potential leadership pool. That's why I want you to participate in this leadership development series that's going to help give you all of the skills that you need in order to be an effective manager here at ABC Org. A few different ways to really say the same thing as your learning objectives, as your course descriptions, but because you are really coming from a place of what's in it for the learner, what's in it for the person that is going to be participating, it really does make a difference. And of course, your enthusiasm, your engagement, and just, your inflection in your voice and really making it a personable conversation really all makes a difference. If you want to learn more about how you can hook your learners and really look at your content and say, how can I apply a hook? I want you to reach out to Anchor Training for a consultation, and we'll have more of a conversation about how to hook your learners in your next training. Friends, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in our next video. Bye.